Hello everyone, and welcome back to your daily government and financial news update. As always, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on everything, so make sure to give this video a like, but also leave a comment giving your thoughts on everything currently going on. Okay, so Matthew McConaughey was hosted by the White House yesterday to offer up his case on gun reform. Being a Uvalde native, he said that this shooting was especially personal to him and his wife, and that they spent most of the past week with the families killed in his hometown. McConaughey also said that this is now a window of opportunity to enact meaningful gun legislative reform and that universal background checks should be had, in addition to, of course, raising the minimum age for purchasing an AR-15 to 21.
Families of the deceased, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, Texas Rangers, hunters, Border Patrol, and responsible gun owners who won't give up their Second Amendment right to bear arms. And you know what they all said? We want secure and safe schools, and we want gun laws that won't make it so easy for the bad guys to get these damn guns. So, we know it's on the table. We need to invest in mental health care. We need safer schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values, and we need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment. Look, is this cure-all? Hell no. But people are hurting. Families are, parents are. And look, as divided as our country is, this gun responsibility issue is one that we agree on more than we don't.
In some other news, with President Biden's popularity ratings still in the tank, he's now beginning to shift his blame to his team at the White House. In fact, he's reportedly said to be unhappy with how his team is trying to tone down some of the statements that he's made in an attempt to clean up a mess that they believe that he's made. For example, President Biden recently said that Russia's President Vladimir Putin couldn't stay in power. After making the statement, his aides then walked the statement back, trying to say that's not what he actually meant. Joe Biden believes that this is making his messaging look softer and believes that's hurting his image. And because of this, people are now speculating that Biden may decide to turn over the staff in the West Wing, and that there are rumors that Chief of Staff Ron Klain may actually be headed for the exits around the midterms. Of course, are Americans really opposed to Biden for his weak messaging, or is it really because they're paying more than double at the pump and facing other terrible inflationary prices wherever they seem to go? I would say most likely the latter. The good thing for the president, at least, is he most likely won't have to fire anyone, since many people are already leaving on their own accord. According to Politico, at least 21 black staffers have left the White House since last year, or are planning to leave very soon. Some of those who remain say it's no wonder why. They describe a work environment with little support from their superiors and fewer chances for promotion. So for a president that has a message of diversity, it sure doesn't seem like much inclusion takes place in the West Wing. Of course, only to be fair, President Donald Trump also saw a good amount of turnover, with 35% in the first year as opposed to Biden's 7.5%. In total, Trump had a turnover percentage of 92%, which was higher than former presidents Barack Obama, George Bush, and Bill Clinton. So turnover isn't necessarily a bad thing, and not even really always a president's fault. For example, the salary may not be enough to survive in a very expensive city such as Washington, D.C., but shifting the blame to your aides, when many other issues remain in this country really isn't the best messaging either. Now, in some other news, the Tampa Bay Rays professional baseball team recently hosted a Pride Night over the weekend. I believe that was Saturday versus the Chicago White Sox. It was in their ballpark. So, as you can imagine, the team had special jerseys, hats, and everything else with the rainbow-colored logo. However, 5 Rays pitchers decided to not wear the rainbow-colored version of their hat and instead wore the team's standard cap. These included pitchers Jason Adam, Jalen Beeks, Brooks Raley, Jeffrey Springs, and Ryan Thompson. Now, I should also note that Raley and Beeks were the only 2 who actually saw the field in the game. Since they were pitchers, the other pitchers did not enter the game, they did not start, and they did not come in to relief pitch. So of course, as you could imagine, regardless, this caused quite the stir. Like, on one hand, we have those who say it's perfectly fine if they don't choose to wear the logo for religious reasons. They have every right with their religion. They may not necessarily be against gay people or hate them in any way. It's just a lifestyle that they don't necessarily support just because of their religion. Then on the other side of things, we have people like ESPN's Sarah Spain, where apparently refusing to wear the rainbow flag patch makes you a bigot. Watch.
Tampa pitcher Jason Adam to the Tampa Bay Times. Hard decision because ultimately we all said we want them to know that they are welcome and loved here. But when we put it on our bodies, I think a lot of guys decided that it's just a lifestyle that maybe, not that they look down on or anything or differently, it's just that maybe we don't want to encourage we believe in Jesus who's encouraged us to live a lifestyle that would abstain from that behavior. Sarah Spain, how does that all come off to you?
Pride is about inclusion, so you don't love them and you don't welcome them if you're not willing to wear the patch. And calling it a lifestyle reveals to me that you've done not even a modicum of research or understanding on this topic, which is what tends to happen when a privileged class isn't affected by things. This is not just about baseball. That religious exemption BS, which is used in sport and otherwise, also allows for people to be denied health care, jobs, apartments, children, prescriptions, all sorts of rights. And so we have to stop tiptoeing around it because we're trying to protect people who are trying to be bigoted from asking for them to be exempt from it when the very people that they are bigoted against are suffering the consequences.
When you say trying to be bigoted,
they're trying to use religious exemptions to affect the opportunities, services, available resources for people who are LGBTQ+.
and a patch on the jersey in this way?
In the case of sport, no. In the case of sport, though, they're double talking if they're saying you're welcome while also saying that we don't encourage or we disagree with it, especially when there are devout people of every single religion that also welcome and are open to people who are born gay.
David Dennis.
Now, just my opinion here, I personally feel that whether it's wearing a rainbow patch, standing for the national anthem, or whatever else should be your personal choice. If you're going to be critical of one of those things, you have to be critical of both. So give the players a choice. If they feel like the anthem isn't something they should stand for, whether it's because they feel like America is somehow the worst country to live in the world, police brutality, or whatever the reason it happens to be, allow them to sit out the anthem, perhaps maybe in the locker room, or they can kneel, or whatever they really choose to do. If someone chooses not to wear a patch because of their religion, then sure, let that be fine too. As long as there's no one being hurt here, we really shouldn't let these cases blow up to be bigger than they have to be. But of course, as always, I am curious to hear your thoughts on this story, so let me know what you think in the comment section below. And finally, tonight, the oh-so-popular Jimmy Kimmel Live show will be hosting Blood President Joe Biden, where we all know he'll be facing the tough questions that this nation is currently facing, such as what flavor of ice cream he got that day. That, of course, rather than being pressed on questions based around the economy, the highest inflation we've had in 40 years, with gas prices seeming to rise higher and higher each and every day. But hey, we certainly wouldn't want to put such a nice grandpa figure in a spot where he would actually have to answer those types of questions. That would simply be unfair. That is, to ask those types of questions to the sitting president of the United States. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the content in today's video and you would like to see more like it, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and of course, ring the notification bell. That way, you will be the first to be notified when I do release a future video. And until next time, as always, have a wonderful day, and stay informed, my friends.